In fact, this leads us to our next discussion with Mitch Mitchell from CableDNA, and they talk about technologies to help authorities detect theft, or theft of infrastructure as it happens. Mitch, thanks so much for your time. Just talk us through the technology. Is this a local technology, and is this something that has been implemented already? Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Sandy. Yes, ours is a local technology developed in South Africa. What we do is to use microdots like the police are using at the moment to identify vehicles, to identify copper cables. This makes copper very difficult to sell because the thieves are now sure, or they know, that they are going to be prosecuted. The scrapyards say we don't want to buy it because we can go to jail. And this could drastically change the cable theft situation in South Africa.
So it's not widely used as yet, Mitch, and yet we're sitting with a problem largely, especially when it comes to the electricity and power supply, where you are told that as soon as the infrastructure is installed, it is stolen almost immediately.
Yes, it is true, Cindy, that also the copper is becoming more and more valuable. Therefore, the thieves and the syndicates are willing to take greater and greater risks. And this is unfortunately going to become much worse as copper gets scarcer in the world. For example, in 2023, from Transnet Rail, 1,200 kilometers of rail power cables were stolen. So that's just a small inkling of what the scale is of theft in South Africa.
Yeah, so is your technology exclusive to CableDNA, or are there other service providers? And how have you interacted with your Transnet or Eskom or, the public sector in preventing cable theft?
Our technology is fairly new. We started it right before COVID began, so we were a bit disrupted. We've had discussions with Transnet, Eskom, Telkom, and other SOEs, and they are very excited about the technology. And I expect the technology to take off very drastically in the very near future.
And how competitive is this space? Because obviously, if you're going to be working with the public sector, there has to be a tender or a bidding process that is open and transparent and is equitable to other players as well.
Yes, of course, that goes without saying. And we will make sure that that is the case. At the moment, the technology is exclusive to South Africa and CableDNA, but our plan is to deploy this technology to help all South Africans and to make sure that cable theft becomes much more, shall I say, unprofitable in the future.
All right. If I'm understanding you, Mitch, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are the exclusive agent or the sole agent to the technology in South Africa. Is that correct?
No, we are not the exclusive agents. We are the ones who developed and patented the technology. So although we have patents pending in other countries like India and Australia, we developed this technology in South Africa because South Africa has got the biggest copper cable theft problem almost in the world.
Yeah, and it also is important for localization and job creation, as we always say about the empowerment dividend. So just your success rate, Mitch, and if you were to give us maybe a ballpark figure in terms of the number of cables that could be saved or rather detected prior to it being stolen, what's your level of success?
Well, our level of success will be the same or greater as the level of success is of vehicles that have been stolen. As you know, since 2012, all vehicles, that includes caravans, motorbikes, cars that are sold new or second-hand, have to be marked with microdots. That has been very successful, and the return rate has been higher than 50%. We expect, because we use exactly the same technology in a slightly different way, we expect the return rate to be either 55% or greater, which means we can possibly save half of the cables that are being stolen at present.
Mitch, I'm not sure if it's my line, but we seem to have missed or rather lost Mitch Mitchell from CableDNA talking about technologies to help authorities detect when infrastructure is being stolen, joining us from Mpumalanga via the virtual platform.